Coastal Carolina keeps rolling. They win their 32nd straight Sun Belt game behind 6 shutout innings from Luke Jones. Talk about it next. Locked on Sun Belt.
You are Locked on Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sun Belt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. All right. We'll go over the Sun Belt RPI a little bit later. Cajuns get their first, in this case, Thursday night, but it was a Friday night, starter type of deal. So you're going first series opening win in a month. That blows my mind. Having said that, we got to start off with the Chanticleers running out of the superlatives to talk about Coastal Carolina. They defeat South Alabama 12-2. It was 12-0. Luke Jones, who was supposed to be, the Sunday starter, gets propelled after the first week. We're going to go to Friday because Fluky and Hayden Johnson were out. And so it's taken a little bit of time for him to get acclimated. Actually pitched okay against Texas in one of those big Friday night ball games early on in the season. Gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. I mean, that's not awful. 6 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Did get roughed up last week against Marshall. 5 runs on 7 hits in 3 innings of work. But tonight against South Alabama, he was outstanding. 6 shutout innings. Let's see what the totals here were. 2 base hits, 3 walks, 5 punch-outs. He was fantastic. Connor Kane came in and finished it off, did give up a couple of runs in 1 inning of work, a 2-run home run, but it was really all Luke Jones. Offensively, kind of balanced out. Philip Ard is the only starter who did not have a base hit. And most of the guys drove in runs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different Chanticleers drove in runs. Ty Barrango had 3 of them. Jordan Taylor drove in 2, and Dean Mihos, what's new, he drove in 2 as well. And almost everybody scored a run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the starters scored runs. So a really balanced attack by Coastal Carolina. 12-2 over South Alabama. Mitchell Heer does suffer his first loss of the season, and I'm going to chalk this one up to nerves just a little bit. All right? A few reasons. First of all, you're playing Coastal Carolina. All right, so they're a top 20 baseball team. And you're on the road. Attendance said 4,600. I was watching another baseball game, but we'll just go with that. Probably 3,035, something like that. South Alabama doesn't play in front of big crowds. If they're on the road, maybe they do, but not at home. I've never known why they just don't draw. All right. I mean, at all. At all. And so now Mitchell Heer is playing in front of a big crowd and a really good baseball team. And he walked 4. You don't get to be 4-0 walking 4. He gave up 8 runs, 5 earned, 4 walks, didn't strike anybody out, hit a batter. He only gave up 4 base hits, but he walked 4 and in 3 innings of work for his first loss of the season. Brian Quimby didn't give up any runs. He threw 2 shutout innings, but Sam Brady gave up 3 runs, and Connor Graham gave up a run as well. So not much offense to speak of. Robert Miranda pinch hit 2-run home run in the 7th inning. All right. As far as RPI is concerned, Coastal Carolina went up. I think they were 13th. I actually took a screenshot of what it was before I refreshed it. They were 13th heading into the day. They're now 11th. How awesome is that? All right. So they are right there, just on the outside looking in to be a national seed. All right. We are going to wait for the finals. If some of these games do end, we did have, Coastal Carolina started at 6 p.m. Eastern time. The Cajuns and JMU started at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I think one more did. Maybe Southern Miss and ODU, and that game should be over. So we'll be able to talk about that one. But we're not doing any updates because, the game is going to be wrong. I'm going to say it's wrong, and it'll change by the time you guys see it in the morning. But Coastal Carolina improves to 10-0 in the Sun Belt, 22-7 overall, and again 11 RPI. The thing about Luke Jones is if he can be this good, and it's a really good start after a really bad one, admittedly. All right, but if he can be this good and pitch on a Sunday, he's the third guy, and he's used to facing the number 1 or 2 guy, and he's the number 3 guy. That's going to be tough. Like, I think he started, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he started the Sun Belt Championship game against Southern Miss just because the way the tournament rolls out. You put your number 1 and number 2, and then you're down to number 3. All right. I don't think Coastal nor Southern Miss had to play a lot, but they can't come back on that short of rest. So Luke Jones, and he pitched pretty well against Southern Miss. And so it is such a big advantage for Coastal Carolina to have such pitching depth. And obviously there's more where that came from, because I think I saw, must have been somebody from the, Coastal Carolina media. Coastal Carolina hasn't lost in a calendar year in the Sun Belt. Pretty good. All right. And this is South Alabama. I think they're one of the better hitting teams. Off the top, I guess I don't know, but they always seem to score a lot of runs. Let me see where they are overall. Hitting wise, they're actually in the middle of the pack. Excuse me. 8th for batting average. Let's see where they are for runs. No, they're right there for 7th. I thought they had a better offense than that, but they're right in the middle of the pack. So nice win for Coastal. Tough start for South Alabama, but they didn't go up that much, but they didn't go down either in the RPI because they played Coastal Carolina, which is a thing. They were 86th heading into the game. I think they're now 83 as of after the game. Again, that's going to change based on everyone else's results tonight, but they are now 83. So they lost, but because they played Coastal Carolina, they went up. It is what it is. All right. Louisiana Ragin Cajuns, hang on, but a different story tonight. Sawyer Pruitt finally gets some run support, but then he starts walking guys. The bullpen eventually bailed him out. We'll talk about that next, right after you hear about Mazda and then TurboTax.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. The NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament Elite 8 wrapped up with the UConn Huskies staying undefeated at 38-0 after a decisive win over Notre Dame, while the UCLA Bruins rallied past Duke behind a dominant second-half performance. On the other side, the remaining 1 seeds in South Carolina and Texas will be determined after their matchups against TCU and Michigan, respectively. Next up, the Final Four is set for Friday in Phoenix, with the winners advancing to the national championship on Sunday. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
And TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today. That's TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Before I go on and tell you about the Cajuns, let me remind you about the Everydayer Club. All right. Get your first month of the Everydayer Club for free when you use code MARCH. You'll unlock ad-free episodes and entry into our private listener group chat where I'm hanging out on a regular basis. Click the link in the show notes or go to lockedonsunbelt.supercast.com. That's lockedonsunbelt.supercast.com to claim your free month. lockedonsunbelt.supercast.com. All right. Ragin Cajuns, they defeat JMU 5-4 in what was a relatively close ball game. It was 1-1, it was 5-1, it was 5-4, and the Cajuns hung on. All right. Sawyer Pruitt got a lead and almost gave it away. Got into a bases loaded jam in the fourth inning. Cajuns put 3 on the board in the third on a 3-run double, added a run in the fourth. It's 5-1. Cajuns offense has been lacking all year long and certainly recently. And that's good to see because remember, they had 7 runs against McNeese earlier in the week, but only on 5 hits. Yesterday, they scored 5 runs on 9 base hits. All right. So the bats are starting to come around. But in that fourth inning, Sawyer Pruitt just for some reason lost it. All right. Walks the leadoff man on 4 pitches. Ouch. Walks the next guy on a 3-2 pitch. Ouch. Then a single to center. Actually, a bunt single. Loads the bases, which is really interesting. You know, as a bunt single, it ends up being a bunt single. But we got back-to-back walks and we're putting down a sacrifice. Please tell me the batter did that on his own. Now, it worked out, but that's... And I am not the biggest fan of bunting. I'll rephrase that. I am not as anti-bunting as everybody else is, but there is a moment in time when it's appropriate, and maybe it was an 0-1 pitch, so we're not getting behind 0-2, I guess. I don't know. That seems interesting. All right, Cameron Aycock with the bunt. Perfect. Jack Anderson hit by a pitch. That brings in a run. Kyle Langley walked. That brings in another run. And so that makes it, 5-3. And unfortunately for the Cajuns, Liamity at first base couldn't handle a low throw, and Klay Thompson reached on a fielder's choice, which should have been an easy inning double play. I mean, the runner was not near second base, not a great throw from the second baseman, and the ball was he missed the ball, actually. He was, I don't know if the throw was short. He was trying to get it before it bounced, but it got under his glove and not in his glove. Nonetheless, that made it 5-4. And I think Pruitt was already out by then. Pruitt came out for Parker Smith, who he actually struck out the next batter, got a ground ball from Thompson. Should have been an inning to double play. Eventually, he gets Jack Guerrero to line out to center field. Parker Smith pitched pretty well. All right. The bullpen, although every time I looked up, they seemed to be giving up walks. Pruitt walked 5. Parker Smith didn't walk anybody. Ty Roman came in. He came in for Parker Smith and immediately walked 2 batters, but then got a double play or got a ground out. He got a ground out to second to end the inning. But I think he loaded the bases. And then Cody Brash was outstanding, only his 4th save of the year. He did walk 1, gave up a base hit, but and JMU had the tying run on base in scoring position, but Brash had 6 punch outs in 2 innings of work. So all the outs were strikeouts. He was outstanding, but so disappointing for Sawyer Pruitt. Finally gets some runs, right? He left in a 1-0 ball game against Texas State. Couldn't hang on to that one. And the Cajuns gave away the ball game last Friday night as well against ULM, and he pitched well. Tonight he gives up 4 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks. I'm sorry, try that again. 4 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 3 punch outs, and on 4 hits. But nonetheless, the Cajuns win their first opening series ball game, if you want to call it that. I call it a Friday night game because I know it's Thursday. I know how I sound, but that's okay. I've sounded worse. You guys know what I'm trying to say. All right. And it's the first Friday night game they have won in a month. All right. Go back. They lost to ULM. They lost to Texas State, and they lost to South Alabama. Their last Friday night game that they won was Dallas Baptist. In fact, we keep on going. They lost to UC San Diego on a Friday night. They did beat Maryland, so that's 2 Friday night games. And they lost to Missouri State. So they've only won 2 Friday night games all year. Holy cow. Right? They beat Maryland and they beat Dallas Baptist. Oh, no, now 3. All right. So now 3. So JMU makes 3. That's crazy. Tough to win series when you're not winning the first game of the series. So that's the thing. All right. So Cajuns improved to 4-6 in the Sun Belt. I think it's 19-11. Did I see that right? I got to correct the time. I put the time out there, and I think the time is wrong. It says they're playing 4 p.m. Eastern time. I think the Sun Belt schedule hit at 3 p.m. So that's my fault. I'll change that up on a tweet. But the Cajuns with a big win, getting the series off to the right start, and they popped. They went from 33 to they were 33, and they popped up to 28. That's a nice pop, right? With 1 win, and it's on the road. And JMU's RPI isn't great. It's 133. But where'd my stuff go? But it's a nice pop because they went up to 28. Sorry about that. I lost my page. What I was looking at here. All right. The Cajuns are up to 28, and of course that's going to change as we're recording it late on a Thursday night. So that's good stuff by the Cajuns. JMU's RPI didn't change at all, and they're both 4-6. All right. Let's see if we got time left in this segment. Let's take a time out. That'll give us a chance to see if we get more finals, which we should have by now. And we'll go over those, and we'll go over the Sun Belt RPI as well, and we'll go over the correct time for the ball games on Friday, because there are some early ball games, not as early as Saturday, but there's some nice day games. A lot of people have the day off for the holiday, and maybe go catch a nice day ball game after you take care of your religious obligations. So there's worse things to do. All right. Let me tell you, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back and do the rest of the finals. We'll talk about the Sun Belt RPI right after I tell you about Robinhood, or FanDuel and Robinhood. The tournament is here, and I'm hoping to go. One of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. It's nonstop action from tip to final cutdown. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. Here's the best plan. Here's the best part. You can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it up however you want. Game picks, futures, or even same-game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's the perfect tournament because every day there's something new. Different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action. And Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's the people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's go over the rest of the finals. We gave you the Coastal Carolina won their 32nd straight Sunbelt ball game. They won 12-2 over South Alabama. Cajuns defeat JMU 5-4, win just their third Friday night ball game of the year and first one in a month. Those were the two finals that we have so far. All right, Southern Miss upends Old Dominion 10-4. Let's see here. Graydon Harris got the win. I think he pitched pretty well. And then the Southern Miss bats came alive. 3 runs in the first, 1 in the second. All right. So they got off to a good start, allowing Graydon Harris to settle in a little bit. And he did. He went 4 shutout innings, but giving up a couple of runs in the 5th. By that time, he was ahead 5-0. 2 runs, both earned, just 1 walk. Did hit a batter and a wild pitch, but struck out 6. Did scatter 6 base hits. Josh Och gave up a run on 2 hits, 2 walks is the killer. Camden Clark finished it off, kind of a Cody Brash kind of game, although he did give up 1 unearned run, no walks in 2 1/3 innings, 4 punch-outs. All right. Matthew Russo, 2 for 4 with 3 runs batted in. Davis Gillespie with was 3 for 4 with 3 runs batted in. They combined for 6 driven in and 5 runs scored and 5 base hits. They were the offense. No, that's impressive. All right. So that's a good job by Southern Miss to get on top of ODU early. They scored 10 runs on 15 hits. It's going to be tough to come back from that when you're doing that. And they had dropped. They were, let's see where they are in the RPI realm, because they had actually dropped. Yeah. They were 16th heading into the game. They were 16th. They beat ODU, but because ODU was sitting at 168, Southern Miss has fallen to 18. Before they won final, they went actually down to 19. So technically they went up after they won. But the ODU thing doesn't help. ODU actually fell. They were 179. Is that possible that they fell after they lost at home to Southern Miss? Yeah, it says 168 RPI before the ballgame. Interesting. All right. Again, that could have other teams in there as well. But Southern Miss breathed a sigh of relief. Bats come around, got solid pitching. They improved to 6-4. They are behind Coastal, Texas State, and ULM, at least as of right now. Let's see where some other that may be the last final that we have. These other ball games may be going on We do have Marshall doubling up App State. Marshall got off to a quick 2-0 lead, but App responded in the first with a run, and App actually took a 3-2 lead. This ball game was back and forth. Marshall made it 4-3. App made it 6-3, but then, or 6-4, I should say. But then Marshall scores 8 unanswered, 4 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, as Marshall's bats are really tough. And Bryce Blevins, who I think has pitched in the Sun Belt for the better part of a decade, picks up his fifth win. He is 5-2. Connor Barazino drops to 0-3 for App State. Marshall, 12 runs on 15 hits. And they left 13 on base. Scoring all those runs, that means that App State walked a well, no, it doesn't. Interesting. They walked one batter. They had 15 hits, 16 base runners, had 12 runs. I'm not going to sit here and do that math, but okay. That's leaving a lot of guys on base that I thought would score. All right, so Marshall with a victory. Troy picks up a victory against Arkansas State. Troy led 2-1 after 3, 4-1 after 4. Arkansas State gets within 1 with 2 in the 5th, but Troy responds with 2 in the 5th. Arkansas State puts 1 on the board in the 7th. That's as close as they got. Let's see if they got any chances there. Arkansas State retired in order in the 6th. Did they load the bases in the 7th? Walked, flied out. No, they had a couple of guys on in the 7th. They did get a base runner on in the 8th, and not a whole lot doing in the 9th. One guy got on in the 9th. So Troy with a big win over Arkansas State, as in one season, it feels like Arkansas State's gone from the hunter to the hunted. And now they're struggling all of a sudden. As we mentioned, Troy, we'll see how much they popped following this win, but take 2 out of 3 from Arkansas State or more. Maybe take 2 out of 3 from Texas State or more. And then you got the Cajuns, 2 out of 3 from them. And your RPI is going to be probably above 50, if not above 40. But long way to go before we get there, right? Long way to go before we get there. But that's a nice win by Troy, improving with a 6-4 victory. And again, coming into tonight, Troy was 77. They're not going to pop too much because Arkansas State was in the 50s. But let's see here. Troy goes to 74. That's better in the other direction, right? Most of these games are finals. You do have ULM and Georgia State playing. You do have Texas State and Georgia Southern playing, although the Georgia Southern ball game is maybe ending shortly. So we'll see when we finish up the standings and everything like that. All right. Well, it's tough to give the standings because not everybody's done, but we can give the RPI as of right now. All right. Warren Nolan does it as standings in the conference. I like doing it ranking the RPI, but obviously Coastal Carolina has that 11 ranking. Texas State, or I should say Southern Miss, is second with 18. Texas State right now is at 24. Cajuns improved to 28. Arkansas State is 61. Troy is 74, and South Alabama is 84. So that's still, more than a handful of teams, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the top 100 in the Sun Belt, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top 30. Not as many, not quite as deep as it was when Arkansas State and South Alabama were in the top 50, as those two have fallen out. But I mean, Coastal's 11, Texas State's 24, Southern Miss is 18, and the Cajuns are 28. That's pretty good. That's 4 in the top 30 for the Sun Belt. That's not bad at all. All right. As things have, it is interesting with the when you put up a social media video and you put it up a couple of weeks ago and we're talking about being disrespected or, I guess it was the same thing, being disrespected, because all those SEC teams are in the top 20 and top 100 and something, and had all those teams in the top 50 even. People thought I was disrespecting them, which I wasn't. And people come after me because of what I said. And the thing is, well, we had a bunch of losses the last couple of weeks. It has not been outside of Texas State and Coastal Carolina, it has not been a couple of good weeks, right? The Cajuns haven't looked good. Arkansas State hadn't looked good. Troy fell on their face. South Alabama was heading in the wrong direction. Although South Alabama had won back-to-back series. They lost the first series to the Cajuns, but then they won back-to-back series. But because they lost one game in each, it doesn't look good. I don't even think South Alabama lost all that much when they lost 2 out of 3 to the Cajuns, because the Cajuns were probably, top 20 at that point in time. So it is interesting when, people keep on commenting as if I made the comment yesterday and don't check the date of when I posted it, although that's not the easiest thing to see in an Instagram reel or TikTok, but it is what it is. All right, let's see if we do have a final. We do have a final. Texas State beats Georgia Southern 8-5. Let's see what the pitching was here. Wade Cooper gets the win, an inning and a third, 1 walk, 3 punch-outs. That's because Kyle Froelich only went 4 innings, 3 runs, got belted around pretty good, 8 base hits. But because he only walked 1, he didn't get completely hammered. And then the bullpen did a good job. Cade Smith, 1 run on 2 hits in 3 innings. Alex Yearwood, not that great with a run in 2/3 of an inning on 2 base hits. But Wade Cooper bailed them out. All right. Manny Salas, 2 for 4, 2 runs batted in, and 4 RBIs. That would be not 1, but a pair of home runs. Salas was all or nothing tonight. 2 for 4 with 2 home runs and 2 strikeouts, but scored twice on his 2 home runs and drove in 4. So that's a pretty good night for Manny Salas. And Texas State does win 8-5. So let's see if Texas State moves up at all. Sometimes it does take a little bit for it to go to Warren Nolan. It doesn't usually take that long, but it has not updated yet. So Texas State is still 6-3 overall in the conference when they are 7-3, and their RPI has not moved just yet. Let me see if we click on Texas State. They're still ranked 24th. So that last win, yeah, it hasn't been updated on Warren Nolan just yet. So we'll see. They might go up 1 or 2 spots. Probably not going to fall that much if they do. All right. A lot of these games will be over. I could do another episode for Saturday if we wanted to with Friday night ball games, because a lot of them will be over by the time I get home from work. So, and I guess there'll be a couple of ball games. Let me go over those again. These are all Central Time. All right. I want to make sure we knew that because I messed that up. All right. So Southern Miss and Old Dominion are playing 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm guessing that's what it is. And James Madison and the Cajuns are playing 4 p.m. Eastern. Marshall and App State are playing. That may be, well, I'm going to say 6 p.m. I think all the times are Central, not the local team is the thing. I think all the teams are Central. All right. And so all these, what's listed is the Central Time Zone where they are. So some of these games are getting early, like 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. App State and Coastal Carolina are playing 6 p.m. Eastern Time. ULM is a little bit later. Well, that's actually 6 p.m. Central Time. Texas State, 6 p.m. Central Time, and Troy, 6 p.m. Central Time. All right. So those are Central Time. Of course, that doesn't make much sense. If one is Central Time, then the other one's got to be Central Time. Who knows? All right. We can all find out what time the games are tomorrow. I'm sorry about that. Not only did I confuse you, I confused myself. I apologize. All right. But we do have a bunch of ball games that are going to be done. Well, a handful of ball games that are going to be, I might be able to see the end of the Cajuns JMU ball game. So that'll be good. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. We've continuing to off to a good start this month. Please go over to Locked On Sunbelt and subscribe over on YouTube. Don't forget about Apple and Spotify. It has been a big help. Leave those comments. It's the fastest way for us to grow. All right. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Everybody have a happy and safe holiday weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.